Well, hello, and welcome back to another Kingdom Maker episode with me, Mr. Gill. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for all of your previous views, likes, comments, suggestions, subscriptions, and all of that jazz. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a little bit of a game update. We kind of get these every couple of weeks, I think, so that's pretty good so far. It seems to be kind of steady, which is good. Now, lots of little things have changed, but the most important thing that has changed in this update is the refining mechanism. Now, they had signaled that they would be changing this, and they were working on it, and to make it clearer and easier to understand, offering more choices and reducing the cases where refinery pays out zero of certain resources. Now, if you want to see all of the update stuff, you can obviously visit the website, and we're just going to go like so, bam, and we can see the update there. This pops up relatively quickly. Now, I was working, unfortunately, so I missed most of this, but we are here today. So the most important thing, I guess, is that refinery thing. So if we scroll down here, as I just said, it makes it easier to understand, offer more choices, and reduce the cases where we get a zero result from refining resources. So let's try and see what we get. Now, it's all changed a little bit, so now we have it laid out like so, which I guess is a little bit easier to understand. I don't like scrolling like this. I think they could have all fitted into one page, but that is fine. We can see all the normal things are here, and then when we click on these things, we get these options. We can refine once, and that'll give us a chance of 4 to 12 common iron. Refine twice will give us a chance of 1 to 5 uncommon, and refining 3 times will give us a chance of 0 to 3 rare iron. Now, I haven't been able to test this a lot. I've done it a couple of times, but my feeling, and a few Alliance members have mentioned that the third option is the worst and you don't get as much stuff back. One thing to note is that the 10-hour cooldown is shared across all three. So if you refine here, it's a 10-hour cooldown. Refine here, it's a 10-hour. Refine here, it's a 10-hour. And basically, yeah, you can only do one once. So I think I mined up a load of bronze to test this out. Let's do refine 3 times, which is going to use 50 of our gold, and what are we going to get? 22 uncommon, 560 common, and 0 of the rare there. That's quite a lot. And then the cooldown, that's not as good as I'd hoped. Let's do a little bit of the emeralds then, and the emeralds one we can do 1 time. What are we going to get here? 2 uncommon, which is pretty good for a first off try, and 11 common. Alright, what about sulfur? Sulfur's the one that I want the most. Obviously sulfur is used a lot in a lot of the gold research. I am currently hanging out for some uncommon sulfur. That's a pretty good result. I'll be honest here, anecdotally, I rarely get uncommon sulfur on a day-to-day basis. I haven't analyzed it too hard, but we've got 92. That has roughly taken me 8 weeks since I've been able to refine uncommon sulfur to get there. So getting 2 in one setup is pretty good, actually. I'm quite happy with that. Were there any other ones that we could do? Let's have a quick look. Rubies we can do as well. I'm not too stressed about it. Let's try refine 2 times. 18 uncommon. That's pretty good as well, actually. So I think there's more testing to be done here, but it feels to me that first round of bronze was a very, very poor result. But the second ones of sulfur and emerald were probably better. So I'm probably going to stick to just refining on the second level there, so refining twice. And I think that's where we're going to... Whoa, stop popping up, man. I think that's where we're going to get the majority of our stuff from, which is pretty cool. I'm quite happy with that. I think they've made it definitely a little bit easier. And from the first couple of tries I've done here, they've made it so that we do have a higher chance to get some of those things that we need. Now, if you don't know what we need uncommon sulfur for, obviously it is used quite extensively in things like the gold research here on the side. So if we come here, that actually needs rare sulfur, which is even harder to get. But say combat here, I think there's one. If we scroll down, good troop health, that's 100 uncommon sulfur, and there's quite a lot. I think I added it all up. We need about 600 uncommon sulfur to open up all of those gold researches there. So that's what we're aiming for. Now, in terms of other things that they've updated, there's a couple of, well, there's quite a few things, and we'll pop back to that little page for a second, like so. And we can scroll down here and we can see that in general they did some optimization and some fixes so that the game should run a bit smoother and easier. Things to note in terms of bug fixes: the massive dungeon cooldown has now been updated to 1 day 8 hours. I think that's an increase in time. And then obviously there's a little bit of kind of UI interfacing stuff. It's easier to notice when you have idle miners. There's now a little kind of red dot icon. They fixed some things. Trade complete report. It is now possible to view your noble profile from the dungeon exploration screen when selecting who to send. Okay, that's fine. Fancy chest tab should now report the correct number of openable chests. Fine. Cleared the rocks that were near certain mine entrances. Oh, that's pretty good because people were probably having trouble hitting the mines and instead staging. Fixed an issue that could cause a city name to disappear. Fixed an issue. Victory. Reward modifiers will no longer sometimes appear. So these are all, looks like, little fixes that were, bugs in the game. Is there anything that actually changes the game? Correct. You can come and have a look at this yourself, so I'm not going to read them all through, but we're just searching for anything that changes the game itself. Improved in-game messaging for future server messages. Mergers, sorry. Okay, what does that mean? Can I notice anything different? Doesn't look like it. Okay, that's an interesting one though to note and see what's actually changed with the in-game messaging there. Boring. Some effects that improve crafting speed and cost, such as assigning a noble to the workshop, now apply properly to temple materials. That's a good thing. I had kind of noticed that and I wondered if that was a bug or not. Basically, when you assign a noble to work in the workshop in your keep, it wasn't speeding up or adding that percentage boost buff to the construction of temple materials, which is good. Nightbringer cities and quarries are now being adjusted to resolve an issue that caused them to be easier to defeat than intended. Ooh, okay. So if you're over level 21, you're able to attack Nightbringer cities and quarries and citadels. That is interesting because I do believe that farming the level 25 citadels is a very good option after keep level 21. So that's interesting to note. We'll have to do some testing on that. Healing machine units no longer a curriculum. Blech, boring. An adjusted event of rewards to ensure they are more relevant to the player's keep level. Notably, certain high level events that awarded bronze instead of iron. That's a good thing as well. So fantastic. Yeah, there is a point in some of these rewards that you get in the events, and they were giving quite a lot of bronze, which was kind of pointless because if you're over keep level 21, you should have refined a ton of bronze already, and you shouldn't really need it. What you do need is that iron coming through, so that is going to help, but it'd be very hard for us to tell exactly what's changed there without having a history of all of the rewards that we have achieved in various events. Okay, cool. So basically, nice little update there. Lots of little bug fixes. It looks like lots of kind of what we call quality of life improvements. So little things like this was in the wrong spot or this was in the wrong spot, moving things, making them all fit a little bit better, which is great. But the big one there being that refining mechanism is now changed. Definitely seems improved for the better. But I would strongly suggest, until yourself is able to do some further testing, I don't think the level 3 refining is worth it. Yeah, but we have to do a lot more testing on that. Let me know down below if you've done it a few more times now. It's been out within a day or something. Also, if your game has not updated, make sure that you visit either the Google Play or Apple App Store, and you should just be able to update from there. It's relatively easy. Your phone should really do it automatically, but just in case it hasn't, go and do that. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye.